This is going to be our trigger ball release technique for two muscles of the upper shoulder and neck, the levator scapula and the upper trapezius. If I turn so you can see, looking for these two bony lumps at the bottom of the skull, and just off of those 2 points, either side of the spine, are going to be the muscles that we want to work on. Now these can get very tight in response to desk work and driving and being on our phones, and just a lot of tension that we can accrue emotionally, as well as exercise like overhead movements, press-ups and so on. To get into those areas, I'm going to sit down on my workout space and pretty much just lie on my back and then turn my head to the side. Now this gives me the right angle that I need to place the ball just at that point, that bony lump at the base of the skull. I'm really looking to place the ball just in contact with that bony lump and just below it. And from here, I can gently and slowly turn my head to work into the areas that I want. You may find you don't need to use very much movement at all. You can even just rest on a trigger point. There's not a lot of surface area to work on with the muscle, so just resting and applying that pressure via gravity, letting the weight of the head do its work. We can use our slow breathing again to stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system that relaxes, reduces the tension naturally in the body, as well as that specific trigger point to get into that tight spot. And very common to find trigger points and tight spots in these two regions, these two muscles that work the shoulder and the neck. So again, things like press-ups, planks, using overhead movements, lifting or holding the arms out again over a keyboard. All these sorts of movements require the neck and the shoulders to stabilize the shoulder blade, the spine and the head. So I'm not trying to force my head down into the ball. Anytime I need to reposition, I can just move my body down, because the ball might want to creep its way down towards my shoulder, and I want to keep it up at the base of the skull. And a bit like guitar strings, you'll feel these muscle fibers running downwards, so we're almost strumming across them by rolling the head side to side. And again, nice deep breath. And a little bit more movement just to get in there and break up some of that tightness. Alright, and as I come off the ball and stand, I test that movement just by moving my head from side to side, and then looking down and looking up, tilting the head from side to side, and a bit like with the lats leaning across from one side to the other, I can feel it's much easier now to create space and distance here, right at that point we've worked on, so not down the lower part of the neck, but right at the base of the skull. It's much easier. I can feel a stretch here, whereas on this side, it's much looser. And that's our trigger point technique for our neck and shoulders.